Hey everybody, we're back at it again. We're not doing Lego this time. No, we're going to start with some Warhammer. This is a hobby I've been wanting to get into for a very long time, and now I finally get to do it. I'm actually starting with the Gutrippaz and paint set intro set. This is supposed to kind of get you into the hobby, see if you're, can paint your first figures. I only use what's in the box, and this little $8 tool set I got from Amazon. It's nothing expensive. Anybody can get this. The glue I don't even end up using. The pieces in this set actually snap together, so they hold together on their own. No glue needed, which is really nice. We don't have to get real messy with the glue. So let's get right into this. Get the box open and pull out this tray. Immediately I'm pulling out this plastic tray upside down and everything kind of just falls out, which is totally fine. The paints hold together in there, no problem. All the paints were nice and still, they weren't dry or anything. They were all still really good shape. Here's the one frame of pieces, which I was actually surprised, mostly because there's 3 models in this set, but they all fit together in this one frame. Some really nice details in there. You can kind of see like half heads and an arm and some legs and all the pegs and holes in the way these pieces fit together. And here's the paintbrush that it comes with. They do provide you a paintbrush, so you don't need to get that either. It's not a real special paintbrush. It's pretty standard, pretty nice. And then here's all the paints. Let's see if we can get these out of here. We got some Steel Legion drab, some Sterling mud, some Mephiston red, and some Agrix Earthshade. This is going to be the wash we use at the end to get everything all nasty and shady. And some Lead Belcher. This is a metallic. And some bright green Auric Flesh, which I think that's actually going to be our first one. So, yep, using these little snippers I got out off the Amazon pack. I get all these little pieces out. Trying to get as close as I can without getting too much of the extra bit off the frame, so there's not too much more I have to cut off at the end, and I have to sand it down. Get all the pieces out. Make sure I don't snip off any toes. Do a little close-up of one of the heads here. You can see I actually did leave a little bit of the frame on the top of his head, but I get that cut off, get it filed down, make it look real nice. Everything kind of looks like that, just sort of like half torsos and arms and legs everywhere. So yeah, now really the only thing is to start putting all this together. Yeah, that really sucks. None of the footage was salvageable. It actually says the file was 0 kilobytes, so you guys don't really get to see me put it together, but we do get to see the first brush stroke of paint onto this green guy. So you see I'm real nervous about it. I haven't done anything about this before, but yeah, get the paint, start brushing on his face. I made sure to thin my paints really well because I did a lot of research before this, make sure I wasn't going to waste my money with something and have to like rebuy the set or what have you. So one of the tips I saw with these paints is that you really gotta thin them down, or else you'll start seeing things like this. Nobody wants to have their expensive Warhammer models looking like this now, do they? I'm speeding up a little bit. Sure, get all the green everywhere. Get his face, get his chest, get his back, legs, arms. I do try really well to get the spaces behind the shield, but I don't know if it's because of the brush they provided me or if I'm just not doing something right, but it was really hard for me to get anything that was behind that shield, and all 3 of them have a shield, so yeah, I ended up leaving a lot of it just not painted. There he is, all nice and green. Nice bright green. There is a spot missing on his forehead, but I get that touched up later. Not bad for the first paint on my first model. Really happy how he turned out. Now it's time to get the rest of the guys green. We're gonna touch up the first one a little bit first. Sure to get it. Everything that's flesh tone, get that all nice and greened up. I'm using a paper plate as a palette. You know, everybody's got these. They want to spend a whole lot of money. Paper plate works fine. You don't have to get the expensive paint palette for this. Working on the second guy now. Now, I'm not the best at framing everything in this, so you'll see me take it off frame to bring it closer to my face. Get a better look at it while I'm painting. I really didn't want to mess these things up. As you can see, I've got my water jar on the left there. Make sure I got enough water supply. Keep my brush clean and make sure my paint is the right consistency. I was really nervous about keeping that paint consistency. And the last guy for getting the flesh tones in. Again, oh, yep, dropped it in the paint. That's okay. Trying really hard to get behind the shield. Now we're moving on to the Steel Legion Drab. This is going to be all the leather bits on the models. Get that popped open. Get it nice and watered down. Don't want it too thick. Lots of leather on these models. I found that out pretty quickly. There's a lot of brown bits on their feet and their ankles, and all nice and browned up. I think on that model, yeah, on that first model, I end up painting the shoulder pad with this brown paint. That shoulder pad was actually not supposed to be brown, but it's supposed to be the lead belcher, the metallic gray paint. But at the end, I end up just painting over the brown, and it totally turned out fine. You know, it's actually surprisingly forgiving with mistakes. You just wait for it to dry and then paint right back over it. Working on the third model again with the Steel Legion Drab. Hangy bits of leather. Touching up the first model again. I think I found some spots I wasn't too happy with. And I go back over to these guys multiple times, just making sure I got everything. Make sure I get the wooden part of their weapon painted as well, because that is supposed to be a nice brown. Now we're working on the Mephiston red. This is going to be a nice bright red for their shield. I don't think I even thin this one out. I just go directly from the pot, just painting this nice bright red. I didn't want to water down this at all. I thought their shields had enough detail on them that a thicker paint wouldn't matter too much either, and I think it turned out pretty well. When you first get the red on, you can't quite see all the details, but once you get the shade on, it really makes those faces on the shields pop, and I really like that. Again, trying to get behind the shield as much as I can, but you know, I end up pretty much giving up on that. Now here's the lead belcher. This is probably my favorite paint in the set, just because it's metallic. Goes on the weapons, and then there's these little sort of bolts on the shields that you get little spots on. It looks really nice. There's some spikes on one of the shields. One of the models actually has a side weapon, which I missed the first time around, but then I get back with the lead belcher to make it nice and metallic. And the armor bits on the shoulders. Some of them do have the knee armor as well. And that's pretty much it for the base paints. Now we're going in for the shade, the Agrax Arch Shade. And this is just a wash, so I go again directly from the pot and just sort of spreading around all over the model. Kind of really gives it a nice grimy look, like they've just been splattered with dirt or something. You can see that shield's really popping now. It looks really nice, like some professional did it, not a first timer. These shades are really quite something. Hitting everywhere, even on the face and the chest and the leather bits. Make them look real nice. And for the last little bit is the Sterling Mud. This is just to cover up the black part of the base. You don't really want it looking black. Just kind of look like they're standing on dirt instead of black plastic, you know. I'm really bad about framing with this stuff because it was so thick, and that brush that they provided just wasn't really up to the task. I think you're supposed to scoop it out with a plastic tool and not a paintbrush. So I don't think I get as much as I actually should have on the base, but it still ended up looking pretty nice. And here's the final products. I'm pretty happy how these guys turned out. That shade really makes everything kind of pop and look like I spent way more time on it than I did. I think I painted these guys in 2 nights, which isn't too bad. That last guy on the right there did get a little too much shade on his face. Kind of looks like he face planted in some mud or something, but otherwise, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty happy with these guys. There are some details I did mess up. Again, the back of the shields are just horrendous on all of them, just because I couldn't be bothered to spend time on parts that people weren't gonna see, you know. So I get some close-ups. I did miss the knee on this guy, which isn't a real big deal because it's also behind the shield. You're not gonna see too much of that knee. And this guy with the leather bit on his face, I really like how he turned out. He's probably my favorite one, just because of how good he looks. That shield looks really well with those bolts and everything. And then the last guy, who I got too much mud on his face, but you know, he still turned out pretty decent looking if the camera would focus. And you can see the mess that is the back of the shield. Ugh. I think his shield turned out the best, but yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. I'm really excited to do some more model painting. I'm actually looking at getting some cheaper just RPG models off of Amazon and painting them. Probably gonna make a video on them. Definitely gonna be doing more Warhammer model painting in the future. Hopefully next time I can actually record the construction part of it. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like, maybe subscribe if you want to see more. I'm really excited to make more videos, so I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.